also want to chime in and tell everybody that things are going good in America, but you got to remember that your right to vote, and you got to look at it. The people are the people that put people in power. It is not the government tells us what we're going to do. The people put people in power, and judges are there to make sure that the balance stays in place and that people do the right things and that they follow the Constitution. And it just seems to me like we've gotten way out of kilter on all of this in America, and that's why you saw the big wave across America when Trump won, is where people said, "Look, we're just tired. We want to have control of the government. We want to have control of the people. We want things to happen. We want to see results." And here in Mississippi, I don't feel that is what we currently have. One of the things that, and right now, Mr. Kitchens will not be on the air until after the commercial break, just to let y'all know. But the thing that I'm concerned about is in America, we the people elected, and people don't understand that elections are local. The people are who's supposed to speak. In Mississippi, it's a bottom up. As you as a person are supposed to be more powerful than the governor. And you are. And you don't realize that. Because all you have to do is go and vote. Because the people have the power. Because the election commissioners in each district are the most important people in the election process, because they're the ones that are the stewards of counting the votes and keeping up with your votes. And they're the ones that are supposed to, and that's who the first line of defense is. And they're the people that are treated the worst in the government. And this past week, when there was a frivolous lawsuit filed because the election commission needed to get through on time on Friday at 5 p.m., which they met their deadline, we had someone running for a position who filed a frivolous lawsuit to make sure that they did do it. That's not the way it works. Until you can't prosecute the crime before the crime is committed. And it's concerning to me that people are not following the process in doing the things they're supposed to do. When the parties are not supposed to be involved, and yes, they kept a guy that I thought was more qualified off the ballot by announcing that the Republican Party was backing somebody. I'm a member of the Republican Party. I was a delegate, but I did not, and I don't recall ever backing a candidate, but they said I did. And these are things that bother me, and I'm not particularly taking one side or the other in this argument. I'm not for Mr. Kitchens or I'm not for Ms. Branning. I'm not going to get there. We're not going there anymore. But what we're going to do is we're going to get to the bottom of what goes on and understand that voting has consequences. And it's really sad to me that we don't have a process to where we would have eliminated people and had this race occur at the same time as the presidential race, where they're in a second race, because the number of people that are going to get out and vote in this election, since I have seen it and saw it, and I mean when we did a runoff in the what was that? This not supervisor's race. It was deciding who was going to be running against Benny Thompson. When we did a Republican runoff in Madison County, y'all, less than 200 people voted. You're not going to get out and vote. Because you're a bunch of lazy people. You don't want to do the right thing. You got to get out and vote in these things. And we have early voting, or absentee voting is what we have. We don't have early voting, but absentee voting, and you could be doing that now. But when you go, you at least be informed on what you're going there to do. You got a guy running for judge who's been there for a while. You got somebody new running for judge that has been a senator and is head of their appropriations, and seems to have a little money to spend. And I look back at this and I think about what the insurance commissioner said, that it's stupid that we don't appoint the commissioner, because the commissioner's race turns into somebody raises $1.5 million on this side, somebody raises $1.5 million on this side, and sooner or later you got to pay it back, because that's just the way it works, people. If somebody gives you money, they want to get payback. So, maybe we should appoint the commissioner. Maybe we should be appointing the judges, in my opinion. I'll get into that with Mr. Kitchens. Maybe we should appoint the judges for eight years rather than have the election. I mean, it's all up in the air on what we should do. But we're the people, and we should be allowed to decide that. And that's where we need our ballot initiative back, to where we can have control of our city, where we can have control of our state. We don't have any control in our city, state, or congressional district. We have none, because they've taken that away from us in the ballot initiative. And y'all, we got to do better. We got to do better on getting our politicians in. But right now we're locked. We can't do anything about anything going on except in this judge's race, because that's the one on the ballot. But when you do this, there needs to be consequences for the people in office who do not do right. And when they say something about, oh, that's the way we've done it for years. Done it for years is what has ruined Mississippi in a lot of ways. And it ruined the United States. And it's like, for instance, you got a president that's going out the door on the way out. He said, let's hit the missile switch and throw some missiles into Russia. I mean, World War III? I don't know. But we got things going on. And we're not going to get in Republican Democrat politics, because in the race that we're dealing with, in the judges race, it is nonpartisan. They call balls and strikes. They look at the Constitution and they enforce the law. If you were going in front of somebody, you want to see that you're going to get a fair shot. And the fair shot is only by following the Constitution. But anyway, we'll be back with the segment, and we're going to talk to Mr. Kitchens right after this on WYAB. To this on WYAB. So,
very good.
Do I seem to have this figured out, sort of? I'm an uneducated idiot.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind with friends and family?
Well, I've learned all of what I've learned about politics through running for mayor 3 times and supervisor twice on how many ways you can cheat. And I run again because I can tell you what is wrong with the process. And I'm trying to get 2 people that are senators, and I want somebody from the Senate, somebody from the House, to go with me to go examine boxes in Madison County. And I know where some boxes are. We'll just go examine some boxes. And I'm going to say, we're going to go find a box. And when we go open that box and none of the stuff is in there that it should be, technically this is a crime scene now. It's not a review of the boxes, because if you go in the boxes, there's no signatures, there's no this, there's no that, there's no that. It's a crime scene. And they look at it like, well, that's the way it's always been.
Hey guys,
I've got notes. I found 143 people in Madison County that were not eligible to run the polls at all. Weren't from Madison County. Some weren't from Mississippi. Reported at the Secretary of State's office, got it all the way to Lynn Fitch's office, and Lynn Fitch won't prosecute. And they all got paid $200 apiece. And that's how I found them, is instead of asking the election commission the way I've always asked things, and they give you a list and blah, 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 I went in the back door and went and asked for payroll. Then compared payroll to the people that worked and went into it. And then I had a person on the election commission that researched it to make sure that they weren't on the polls. And you can do that in every county in the state. But that's real. That was real evidence, not just blah, blah, blah. And a lot of blah, blah, blah goes on.
John Dorset at
But that's what I'm at.
2302. Have you ever said to yourself,
Figuring it
I'd like
out.
to go back to school?
I don't care if I ever go in office. I'm going to figure it out. I'll beat my head against the wall till I do.
This is Ben Ingram, the voice of the Atlanta Braves.
When you figure
And this
it out, you
advertisement
tell
is
somebody
easy for me to read because
Well, the
I
problem
love
is,
my alma mater.
the problem on figuring it out and telling somebody you can do something about it is I've reported it everywhere you can. Unless I have a pocket full of money, I can't do anything. And the people are stuck not being able to pay for something against their own legislature, and you can't do anything to fix that because you have no, other than who you elect, and the people don't, people are sheep. When they elect, they elect. Turn that mic where you'll be talking in the end.
Growing your business. People Lease is based in Richland, so you're always dealing with
But that's the way I
locals
feel
who will
about it.
actually
So.
understand your business and its needs. Join thousands of satisfied clients who
Right.
trust People Lease to simplify their employee
What'd y'all talk about on
administration.
Super Talk?
Visit peoplelease.com.
We had
That's
10 minutes, we
peoplelease.com
talked
to learn
about
more.
fact that I've
For over
been in
15
office
years,
since
A1 Gear
71,
and Auto
which I
has been
haven't.
your hometown specialist.
Were they
for your
fair
auto
with you?
repair and
Yeah.
maintenance needs. From
Because,
brake
you know,
repair
they're
replacements
the
to
Republican
radiators,
oligarch
engines,
station.
starters,
70% of the
alternators,
income for
and
that radio
AC water
station
pumps,
comes
and
from
more. A1
the
will
state
get
of
your vehicle
Mississippi,
back up and
taxpayer
running and on
dollars.
the road and in a
This
timely
station
manner.
accepts
A1 is
no
one of the
money from the
only shops
taxpayer.
in the metro
We
that
won't run a
specializes in
fair
rear
commercial.
differentials, rear ends, and rings, and
You don't,
pinions.
can't spend
Call
money
today
here.
to set up an
We can't be
appointment, or
bought.
if you got
And our
questions, it's
airways
601-939-1060.
are low. We have no time on the
A1
air.
Gear and
It's
Auto,
so
your
loud.
hometown vehicle specialist.
Amazing, isn't to me, I grew up in Canton when radio was radio, and you know when the election came through, you know when Waller ran against Sullivan and this, that, and the other, you had everybody had headquarters in Canton and small towns, and
Was Peter Green.
Yes.
Full of school.
Canton Elementary. Yes, I was in the first grade with him and knew Bliss and all of them. Okay, this is us.
Welcome back.
And we're back on a Tuesday. Beautiful outside today. Y'all get out and enjoy it before we don't have good weather soon. And it gets cold or it get real hot or whatever. But in the studio with me this morning is a gentleman that's running for Supreme Court Justice. Yeah, but I would guess your title currently is Supreme Court Justice.
That's right, sir.
And his name is Jim Kitchens. He's been in office for a while, and many people think many things, but I mean, I'm gonna let you tell them about yourself. I mean, before we ask any questions, just do your spiel.
Well, I've lived in Crystal Springs, Mississippi all my life. My wife, Mary, and I raised our children there. We have 5 adult children. They all live in Crystal Springs. Nobody left the ship. And we have 13 grandchildren. I've been a lawyer since I was very young. I got out of law school when I was 24. Went immediately and started trying cases because the old judges back then were appointing the young lawyers to criminal cases. And I had some success doing that. I won some murder cases before I was 25 years old. And the sheriff and the deputy sheriff came to me in 1971 and asked me to run for district attorney. It was an open seat.
Right.
I did, and I won, and I served there for 9 years. I left the DA's office after 9 years because one of our children had cancer. Mary and I had enormous medical bills that we could not pay on the $36,000 or so salary of a DA back then.
Right.
So I could either take bankruptcy and beat the doctors and hospitals out of their money, or I could go back to practicing law and pay my bills.
There you go.
I did the latter.
Okay.
It's been suggested in the campaign that I've been in public office all this time. That's not right. I've been in the private sector a lot longer than I've been in the public sector. I practiced law when I left the DA's office. That was the end of 1980.
Right.
I went back into private law practice, represented Mississippi families with every kind of legal problem they had. And then after about 30 years, I was talked into running for the Supreme Court.
And that to me sounds like a lot of experience and run for the office.
Yes.
Okay.
I have tried cases in every kind of court there is. I had an active trial practice for many decades, and I know the court system very well. That experience stands me in very good stead on the Supreme Court, where we don't have trials. Every case we have has been tried somewhere else in Mississippi. We get more than 70%, sometimes close to 80% of our cases from the circuit court. And I understand circuit court practice because I did it most of my life. I've been in the courtroom. I think it's worth saying that Senator Branning is a nice person. She's been a lawyer for 20 years. She has a law practice, and she is very specialized apparently in what she does, and that's fine.
Right.
She has an honorable thing to do. She closes loans for people on houses, and that's great. Somebody's got to do that.
Right.
But, I did a little of that myself in the past. But Senator Branning does not litigate cases. And if we didn't have litigation, we wouldn't need a Supreme Court because nobody would ever lose a case.
And then as a judge, you're just calling balls and strikes. So somebody else tries the case, and then you bring it before you, and y'all decide whether they tried it properly, right?
Well, somebody
Is
lost the case that somebody else tried,
Right.
and that person can appeal. The only place they can appeal to in the state court system is the Supreme Court. It's the last resort of courts in our state. And when I see a case that comes from the circuit court or the chancery court or whatever court it came from, I can look at it through the eyes of somebody that's been there and done that.
Yes. And I know of no controversy that you've been in, and you've been in office now for
Almost 16 years.
16 years. That's not like a forever.
Well,
And-
nobody said I've done anything wrong. Nobody said I've done anything bad. Nobody has read one of my opinions and said this guy's a flaming liberal or this guy's a hard-nosed conservative or anything. I have worked very hard not to be liberal or conservative, but rather to follow the law. That's what guides me.
Well, somebody recently, and this is something that was brought up to me by other people, that recently they said, well, he's a Democrat, blah, blah, blah. I go, how do you tell if someone's a Democrat? I'm from Canton, and when I vote in a local election, that's the only time you see me. When I go to the precinct, in order to vote for my alderman, I got to vote Democrat.
Well, I understand Mississippi law requires and contemplates that judges will not be partisan. We are supposed to be the most impartial people in Mississippi, and I try to be that very thing. I forsook party politics a long, long time ago, and so I don't think that the law contemplates my claiming allegiance or support from any political party, but rather these are nonpartisan races, and that I've tried to follow the letter and the spirit of that law.
And my thing of looking at it is once you become a judge and you've sworn off the parties, which really in this state, the national parties are an issue. The locally, we're just good old people. We eat peas and cornbread. Everybody's happy, and they break bread, and everybody talks and are kind to each other, except when they start talking national politics. And I don't feel like the Democratic Party of Mississippi is the same as the Democratic Party on the national level, because the Democratic Party, the national level, doesn't believe in God, where the local does. I mean, the Christians are here, the people are here, but the law should be followed by the law, and the ethics on running for this race. And in this race, the two things that should have been followed was, one, there were other GOP people that I knew as GOP members, let's put it that way, that were running as judge, but they were running nonpartisan.
Well, we
And
get cases at the court that we get election contests.
Yes.
We get all the election contests that are appealed from the circuit courts, and I don't care whether those litigants are Republicans or Democrats or Whigs or communists. It doesn't make me any difference. I try to look at it from a clear-headed, open-minded position and decide it on the basis of the controlling law.
Yeah. So and at 81, I guess you're running again. He's 81 years old, but he's articulate. You seem very on it, and you only have to keep running because the state of Mississippi doesn't have a great. They're worried about the PERS, so you got to find money somewhere.
Well, one of the best rules I know is know thyself. And I know Jim Kitchens pretty well. I know that I feel good. I know my mother lived to be 105 and retired as a piano teacher at 99 because she couldn't see the music anymore. And so I know that I'm at the top of my game. I know more about being a Supreme Court justice today than I've ever known the whole time I've been there, because I keep learning all the time.
And you drove yourself here. You climbed the 32,000 steps we have here to come in here, and you do not seem to be a man that's in decline.
I'll get up on the rooftop with you if you want.
I'm not going on the roof. I can promise you that.
I'll help you get up there.
Well, give a last spiel here, because we're limited in time due to legal reasons, and then I know you're going to be back on with this Thursday, and you're buying some time to be on the air there. But right now, just go ahead and give one more spiel.
I don't say this as a personal criticism of Senator Branning.
Right.
But to my knowledge, I cannot find that she has ever had a jury trial in 20 years of law practice. She has an honorable, good practice. but she does not understand the workings of a court from the standpoint of somebody that's been there and done that. I've spent my life in the trial courts of Mississippi, and that stands me in pretty good stead on the Supreme Court. I hope people will vote, regardless of whether they vote for me or Senator Branning. That is an American duty as well as an American right. So vote on the 26th. That's next Tuesday, or if you need to vote absentee, you can do it right now.
Yes. And I wish we could go into a lot of these. We were talking before you went on the air today. There was a lot of stuff I'd like to talk to you about that I know that legally we cannot talk about on the radio. You can't talk about opinions. You can't talk about what you've done in the past. I don't know if you can say anything on the subjects, because if it's come before the court, I cannot bring it up to you on the air.
That's correct.
So understand that running for judge means to be a good person, to be an ethical person, and you have to. And the law is kind of set up to where you run for office and you just go out and shake hands and kiss babies, because there is no way to technically vet them other than it's almost like you have to be a lawyer to know what that person does, because you're not supposed to name party. You're not supposed to talk about your cases. You're not supposed to be able to do anything that would be anything. And
I have followed the rules.
That's the rules.
I've done it according to the book, the law book.
And I appreciate you for that. And we'll be back and we'll talk more about all of that when the next time you're in here. But thank you. And I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be back here on the Chip Matthews Show in just a moment.
Boy, that was a rapid fire interview.
Thank you very much.
Was I okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I appreciate
There was a lot of stuff I wanted to go into. And that you notice, I don't do a show with notes. None, ever.
Delicious food.
I just get on and do it.
Combined to make
But,
the best place for
I would
sports fans
look
and
forward
food
to
fans
having you in
watch the game.
Thursday.
Just now,
I hope I can do that.
Oh, she was,
But food,
is it Pam
my
Johnson?
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna take care of it. She'll have you in. Thank you.
How long will we have on
Monday through Thursday and 11 Friday through Sunday. And happy hours are daily at Capitol Grill. Also enjoy the all-new Tuesday night and karaoke on Wednesday and Friday nights from 8 till midnight with DJ Money Mob. Capitol Grill, DeVille Plaza in Jackson.
When hail strikes, it can wreak havoc on your roof, leaving you vulnerable to leaks and costly damage.
I'll get back with you.
Watkins
I'll get
Construction
Pam
and
to,
Roofing on your side, you can weather any storm. Our experienced team specializes in hail damage assessment and restoration, ensuring your home stays safe and secure. From minor repairs to full roof replacements, Watkins delivers quality craftsmanship and peace of mind every step of the way. Call Watkins today for a complimentary roof inspection. 601-966-8233 or nomoreroofleak.com.
An American home just doesn't seem complete without that flag hanging from the pole on that flag. In Jackson, it's at a complete flag source, I-55 North. You'll find U.S. and Mississippi flags in all sizes. And yes, that new Mississippi flag is available along with international flags and all state and territorial flags. They can build your flagpole and repair that ragged old flag. It's at CompleteFlags.com. That's CompleteFlags.com.
If you want the best health care, where do you go? The Mayo Clinic. If you want the best care for your vehicle, where do you go? Mayo Auto Clinic in Raymond. Mayo Auto Clinic does foreign and domestic vehicles and diesel repair. Mayo Auto Clinic has ASE certified techs with over 25 years of experience. You can extend the life of your car or truck when you take it to Mayo Auto Clinic. For cost-effective repairs and maintenance, go to the best, Mayo Auto Clinic. Open weekdays at 7 a.m. Highway 18 in Raymond.
I'm David Frederick, owner of Frederick Sales and Service in Brandon. I'm here to tell you that it's the best time to buy a new Exmark zero-turn mower. With unmatched quality of cut, ease of operation, and low maintenance, it's no wonder why Exmark is the #1 choice of landscape professionals. With sizes starting at 42 inches and 0% financing available, we have an Exmark zero-turn for all size lawns. Frederick Sales and Service in Brandon. Come by my store and see why Fredericks has been leading the way and serving you for 30 years since 1993.
Looking to elevate your ride? Weston Automotive and Rick's Pro Truck have you covered. From rugged bumpers to sleek step bars, Weston's top-notch accessories will transform your truck into a head-turner. And at Rick's Pro Truck, we specialize in custom installations that bring your vision to life. Visit us today for expert advice and unbeatable deals. Weston Automotive and Rick's Pro Truck, where your truck's potential comes alive. Weston and RPT. Trucks live here.
Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
And it is Tuesday morning here on the Chip Matthews Show. I'd like to thank Supreme Court Justice Jim Kitchens for being in and talking with us for a little while this morning. And y'all got to remember, he was the one that wrote the dissenting opinion on the ballot initiative process in the state of Mississippi. And that's important to know, y'all, because the ballot initiative was our way of telling the government we didn't like the way they do things. If we wanted to add something, let's say, for instance, we as the people would like to say, okay, I don't want the legislature to go down there to the Capitol this January and have to worry about what a boy and girl is. Just put it on the ballot. We, the people of Mississippi, would decide what a boy and girl is, and it would be on the ballot, and we'd have a ballot initiative for that. We'd also be able to put on the ballot, you must be a citizen of the United States and Mississippi and the county and all of that, which already is the rule. But it seemed like during the presidential election, people brought that up that needed to be an issue. That's something else we could take out of their hands. There's things that we could take out of their hands, but there are things that have monetary value, like the pot, that they needed to take care of beforehand. But once we voted it in, then it would be their right to legalize and regulate it because it is a drug. And that's the way it should have been handled. The people should be able to speak, but they threw the ballot initiative out, and the bureaucrats of Mississippi. I mean, y'all, I don't want to bring up the flag again, but we voted to put it in the Constitution, and that's the reason why we had a ballot initiative. And then the legislator took it away from us. I mean, they look on ways to manipulate the thing because they say that the people won't do anything to fix the problems. We do not do our job. We let these politicians run wild on us. We let them do whatever they want, and they think they can get away with it. And it's like in this judge's race, you got Miss Branning, who aligned herself with the party in the commercial because she mentions that she was endorsed by the GOP. But you know, that's splitting hairs. That's splitting hairs when you get into that. When you start talking about it and you're the one running, then you also filing some frivolous lawsuit. That's not necessary. The deadline had not been met. You filed it ahead of time. We don't need the person, and I don't mean this to take a side. I'm just saying it seems to me that A needs to be A, B needs to be B, C needs to be C, and you go by the rules, and that's that. If it's a nonpartisan race, it's a nonpartisan race. Parties aren't involved. And there is no reason that. And then to attack a man because of his age at 81, and he's still writing great opinions and talks very well. Mudslinging a judge race is ridiculous, unless, of course, you've got, let's say Joe Biden was a judge. Yeah, there'd be plenty to talk bad about because Joe Biden is insane. And he's at an age that he can't make rational decisions, but people live different ways. People do different things. People have different lifestyles. And in this case, I think that people are judging the wrong thing in the judge's race. They need to look at opinions and make sure and just come up with something. Do the research. Know that what you're doing is what you're doing, and you're doing the right thing. That's in any race, because you also have a county race going on in Rankin County where some people are running for county court judge and this, that, and the other. And that's why it's important that all of you go out and vote. Still, you need to go vote. Voting is the most important thing you can do. Let's take this phone call and see what they got to say. Hello, WYAB. Hello. Hey, Woodrow. Doing all right. What you got? Yes. Yes. Right. Well, the thing that I look at in this, and in this judge's race, is the fact that the mudslinging, when it started, I was just like, this is not supposed to go on. I didn't hear any other judges doing anything to bring them forward. I mean, it's a judge's race. It's who's going to call balls and strikes when you go to court, or in this case, when it gets handed off to the Supreme Court, you just want them to look at it and say, the law was followed, the law was not followed. They trampled on your rights. You're allowed to come back to court. You're allowed not to come back to court. I mean, that is what we're doing here. And for this to be such a highly contested, and I'm going to tell you that I've had lots of intimidation directed toward me in this race on how I handle this. And I keep looking at people going, y'all, it's a judge's race. What are y'all talking about? And look, from Canton, Mississippi, I learned that voter intimidation or election intimidation is a stronger crime, 15 years. And the girl wound up doing it in Canton for just saying, you better vote for me. She went to jail. She went to jail for that. She didn't go to jail for all the ballots that she harvested and all the illegal stuff that she actually did that the other aldermen have already pled guilty to in Canton. She went to jail for, you better not. You better do this. You better do this. And I mean, that's the court system, and that's the rules, and that's the way it goes. And I just when this thing got out of hand, I was just going, what the heck, people? Figure it out. And look, well, this is the first time I met him, and he seemed to be right on target and exactly what I would expect out of a judge. He is piano player. I guess I can get him to come. I have a restaurant, and we have piano players come in. I wonder if he'll come in and play the piano on a Friday night at the restaurant. Okay, that'll work. Thanks for calling, and thank you. Well, y'all, elections have consequences, and we have to live with what we do. So let's all think about it. If you're going to court and this, that, and the other, this keeps turning into a commercial now, and I don't want it to be a commercial about what we're doing. People have to do the right thing when you run for office. That is all I say. All the rules have to be followed. And I just sit there and I look at it and I go, well, Chip, you can bend this one, this rule hadn't been. No, this is our justice system. It cannot be corrupt. The way I look at it, let's talk about the districts in Madison County, where they talk about they're going to take Madison County off of Rankin County and throw us into Yazoo County, this and the other. The logical thing you legislators need to look at, if you were going to redistrict, I mean, we do all kind of gerrymandering in the state for Benny Thompson or whoever else running for office. Why don't you take Hinds County and split it in half and give Rankin County half and give the other half to Madison County? Now, that sounds crazy, but all of a sudden you would have conservative judges being elected because we would be back and forth between the two counties. Doesn't that make sense? Makes more sense than splitting Canton off, Jackson, taking Madison County and giving it to Yazoo City, because all you then is you're just doing corrupt judges. But if we did this other, that'd be pretty good, I think. But anyway, I don't know anything. I'm just a stupid guy on the radio that just talks to y'all and makes you think. I hope I make you think. I hope I make you make a decision. I hope I make you think that you go out and can figure it all out. All I really want is you to come out and eat a pizza at Acme Pizza. We're not open tonight, but we'll be open Wednesday. We're open every day but Tuesday, because Tuesday is my day to do politics, and that's what I'm doing today. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right here on the Chip Matthews Show. Okay. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right here.
1039 WYAB.
For all your gun and accessory needs, visit Guns and Gear on Highway 51 in Gluckstadt. Gun shopping in Central Mississippi will never be the same again. Guns and Gear is not your average gun store. Our goal is to provide quality one-on-one customer service at a price everyday men and women can afford. Whether you're an avid hunter, competitive shooter, survivalist, or just a weekend plinker with friends and family, Guns and Gear is here to meet all your gun and accessory needs. Visit us at gunsandgearms.com.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Your Christmas store is Home Care Plus Medical in Richland. That's right. At Home Care Plus, you can shop for unique gifts that improve the quality of life for you and your loved ones. Home Care Plus has lift chairs, cushions, grab bars, canes, ramps, rollators, walkers, wheelchairs, and so much more. So think unique this Christmas season at Home Care Plus. Home Care Plus, located just off County Line on Wilson Drive in Richland near Shapley's Restaurant, 601-957-9174.
Meredith Carter here with Railroad Pizza Company on Main Street in Flora. Wes and I want to remind everyone how important it is to support local. We're serving fresh lettuce, fresh tomato, local ground beef, local roast beef, and local beer here on Main Street in Flora at Railroad Pizza Company. So come check out our daily specials. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Railroad Pizza Company. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and now on TikTok.
This is Jack Hoffman. For nearly 31 years, Tico's Steakhouse has been a staple of the fine dining in Jackson, Mississippi. Dad has long since desired for me to come work alongside him. And now that I'm here, I would like to invite you to come experience our family tradition of our hospitality, sizzling steaks, and healthy poured beverages. Our dining rooms are open and we are taking reservations. Our private rooms are also available along with takeout. Call today or stop in and experience Tico's in the second generation.
Tico's Steakhouse, East County Line Road in Ridgeland, 601-956-1030.
If you're a parent or grandparent, you should know that even though Mississippi is ranked as the unhealthiest state in the country, we have the highest vaccination rate for our children and grandchildren. Many of us blindly trust the medical establishment, and now it's time to question vaccine safety. Mississippi Parents for Vaccine Rights is a grassroots organization working to educate the public and lawmakers about this important topic. Be informed. Go to mpvr.org. Like us on Facebook to stay up to date on the latest information. That's Mississippi Parents for Vaccine Rights, mpvr.org.
Venable Glass is your local glass expert, offering residential, automotive, and commercial glass. Venable Glass can do it all. What sets Venable Glass apart from the rest? Unmatched reliability and customer service. Don't forget, tell your insurance company that you want to use Venable Glass. And remember, you do have a choice. Let Venable Glass work hard to earn your business. Call Venable's Ridgeland or Brandon locations today for a free estimate or visit venableglass.com.
Where do you stand in the pro-life community? If you're passionate about protecting the sanctity of life from fertilization to natural death, please join us at Pro-Life Mississippi as we make a difference and save lives right here in our own state. Pro-Life Mississippi is a community of individuals dedicated to equipping others to value all human life, including the preborn, those with disabilities, and the elderly. Our mission is simple: to provide unwavering support, education, and advocacy for the preborn, their families, and other vulnerable children and adults. If you're just starting your pro-life journey or you have been an advocate of life for many years, Pro-Life Mississippi needs your voice and talents to save lives in Mississippi. Together, we can make a difference in building a stronger pro-life Mississippi. Learn more about us at prolifems.org. That's prolifems.org. Be part of the community that celebrates each and every human life.
Welcome back to the
And we're back for our final segment on the Chip Matthews Show on a Tuesday. Beautiful outside. All that weather last night. I think Tim Jenkins told me that he got 2 1/4 inches at his property last night. Amazing that we can get some dry water on the ground. He's out cutting trees down somewhere, and he's going to be in with me in a few days and get back to being on the show. You know, him being a former election commissioner really helps a whole lot in the process. And like I said, I'm going to be going with the some of the candidates to go and now that the election is certified, we can now go and canvass the vote canvass the vote doesn't mean you're going to file a challenge. Canvassing the vote means you're going to check the process and see if it's all correct. And I invite you lawmakers that are out there that work in the Senate and in the House to go with me on a trip when we go and look at a box. I want you all, somebody out there, to go with me and let me show you what is not occurring in the election process. Now, I'm sure I couldn't get Michael Watson to go. I'd love to call and say, you need to go with me to go look at a box. But the reality is they can go look at a box at any time they want. They just can't. They don't have any enforcement power. Whatever information they get, they have no power. They turn it over to Lynn Fitch. And then Lynn Fitch has to decide what to do with it. You know, that's the sad thing about the whole process. You know, and then if Lynn Fitch doesn't think it's important enough, if it, you know, if it's not about getting some millions of dollars on a national contract, she really doesn't get involved in local Mississippi politics of election stuff that goes on. I mean, the people are not, you know, we're not getting represented. We don't have the ballot initiative. We have no way to fix anything in this state because of the ballot initiative. And I keep bringing it up, and bringing it up. And I would have loved to talk to Judge Kitchens about it, but you can't do that because it's unethical. If it's something that's going to come before the court, you can't be doing that. You know, that's just the rules. Because, you know, you got to go in and get a valid argument, pray on it, decide what it is. But you and I, as citizens, we know that we should have the ballot initiative. We know that. And we need to figure out how to get it back into our hands because the people, they've taken it from us. They've taken our voice from us. They've quietened us. And this radio station, WYEB, and the people that work here do an excellent job of trying to keep you informed. And we're a bunch of misfits. We ask questions. We don't really, you know, sometimes we get them answered. Sometimes we don't. We make you think, and that's good. And we have the thinking people because the people that listen to this radio station support all of our sponsors of this radio station. There's nowhere that they talk bad about this radio station. These people that work here go out and do a hell of a job of getting noticed, getting the job done. And I want you to understand that we're here for you. And so when you call in and ask questions and when you do what you do, you're showing the world that we mean business here and we mean to do the right thing. And bringing you both sides of a conflict. I mean, you know, you can't fault Clay. Clay will let you in. It's like I've told you, Benny Thompson. Look, Ron Eller's been in here. Benny, why don't you come on my show? Come on, Benny. We'll sit and we'll talk cordial. I mean, everybody thinks that they're under attack when you ask questions. And I saw where Jameson was talking to me about this yesterday, that every time you say you're going to be somewhere and ask questions, they get hostile. I go, yeah, because they don't want to answer the questions. They want to do what they want to do and get away. As long as you're not shining any light in the room, it'll just be darkness and nothing's going to happen. Nothing happens in the dark, or nothing that you can see happens in the dark. But we know better. So we got to do a better job of policing ourselves. And one of our way of policing ourselves is to vote. We have an election coming up that's going on now. We need to vote in that. Then in January, right now, you need to be finding who you need to put on the ballot to run for mayor in these cities. I mean, it doesn't matter, you know, if I mean, because basically on the subject matter of today, the guy's 81 years old and running for office. So I guess that means that Mary Hawkins needs to be thrown out, right? No, she doesn't need to be thrown out. She's a great mayor and she's doing a great job, you know. But challenging these people on the ballot with new blood, we got to get to where we know some new people. We don't go to church anymore as much as we used to. We don't socialize. There's not small carnivals. When I was a kid, you had the Lions Club Carnival, this, that, and the other. You had all these events that went on in Canton where you all socialized. We don't do that anymore. You know, with the you got the private schools, public schools, this, that, and the other. So some go to private, some go to public, and the two never meet. The kids of these two never meet. And, you know, we used to all be together and we're all segregated. And we got to get together and all of us get to where we see each other, shake hands, kiss babies, you know, in these HOAs that we have. If in y'all's meetings, you need to think about who in your group And quit complaining about somebody with a yard sign. Come on. You need to take your HOA and say, look, people, we need to get together and find somebody who can represent our group. I mean, yes, you've got a head of an HOA, but you need somebody who's going to get involved a step further in the real local government and move up. And if all the HOAs could get their stuff together, then people like on Yandle Road, where they're having to deal with these supervisors from Madison County who do what they want to do and not what the people want, because you'll have 200 people show up at a meeting and say, look, we don't need another neighborhood here. And now y'all fixing to start tearing up the roads to build the roads bigger. And you're just sitting there going, you're still building neighborhoods. There needs to be a moratorium. There's no school for them. There's no place to put the people. You're going to put another 1,000 houses out here, and all you're caring about is votes. Those people that are voting only care about the votes and what type of votes they're going to put in. That's why they put in the substandard housing on Yandle Road. They put in that they're approving houses to be built out there that don't need to be built. There's no place to put the kids if they go to school. You got 900 houses going up out there and more neighborhoods popping up every day. Road is crap. And then they say, okay, we're going to rebuild the road and it's going to take us 2 years, 3 years. Come on, people. We've got to get better people in office. We got to get people that at least have a plan. Those people that in Madison County that have been in office for 20, 30 years, they know that they got you. They got you, and you're going to go to the polls, or you're not going to go to the polls. And it's just like on Benny Thompson. Y'all said, oh, Benny's going to win no matter what. Benny was in a race till 11 o'clock at night. Then same guy that came after the J6ers and rigged the Homeland Security. Did you think he couldn't rig half of Mississippi? I'm not saying he did or didn't, but he was in a room and he was upset, and it was 50 on TV. I don't know if the TV stations were just trying to upset him, but it was 51% to 49% for a while there at 10 o'clock, and all the other races had been called. And Mr. Benny, who's been in office longer than anybody else, he was sitting there nervous in a chair, and chairs were turned over in the room he was in. He didn't have his normal ugly face. He had on his mean ugly face. And I was going, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden it was like, dump. Bunch of votes came in. He says, I'm not going to be embarrassed. And y'all, it is that easy to happen. In Madison County, y'all, 70%, maybe 80% of the boxes in Madison County on the election machines, when you went up to the election machine to vote, there was no seal on the bottom of the machine. And in some precincts in Madison County, you had supervisors walking in, elected supervisors walking in, looking around. They have no rights in there. They don't. If they weren't there on credentials from a candidate, they had no authority in there. What were they doing in there? What are you walking around doing? Why do you open up the door to improprieties? Why do people do what they shouldn't do? Why do you go and do something to where we can't just trust you? I mean, when we elect somebody, I would like it to be like when I was a kid, when you met an elected official, you met somebody you trusted. You met somebody that had your best interest. And then, they would ask you questions of this, that, and the other. We send people to the legislature downtown to go and do these things for us and vote our way, and they vote any way they want. And thank God Tate Reeves vetoed Medicare last year. We're trying to reduce taxes. They're trying to put us on a system, which, of course, let's say, for instance, just throw this out here, is the way I understand it. Let's say we pass Medicaid, and so the United States government's going to send us $1 billion a year, let's say. Well, for the first year, we get $3 billion until we catch up in the program. And then all of a sudden, if they pull the program, then we got to pay for the program. Do you understand that? And you can't trust the federal government to do the right thing. We might be able to trust it a little bit more when Trump gets through with these first 2 years and he gets all these people approved and in office, and he's going to get them in, and he's going to get it changed. And yeah, they're all screaming now about the border. What's Benny going to do about his half of the state of Mississippi? I mean, is he going to complain? I haven't heard him talk. I heard Michael Guest. Michael Guest is on the ethics board. Why aren't you going after Benny Thompson? Why aren't you saying, Benny, you've done some things that just don't look right? And the people in Mississippi that I represent don't think Benny is doing right. They don't. And if your people think that he's not doing right, then Michael, you have an obligation to say something. and not just go along to get along. Going along to get along hadn't gotten us anywhere. You were on the Homeland Security, because Homeland Security. You're our senior representative now. You're going to get a great appointment out of Trump. You're going to be in a great situation because of Trump. And you are not defending Trump's values. That is something that really concerns me. And it's something that needs to be talked about out in public. You need to come on the radio show and talk to us. Talk to Jameson Haygood. Talk to somebody. Tell somebody why you do what you do. We need legislators. We need the locals, and we need, because you're all local. You're all local because the people put you there. The people you know in your neighborhood do it, and you should be able to walk around with your head above the head high and just say, look, I'm a proud American, and I'm doing God's work, and you're happy, and I'm happy, and things are getting better. And that's the way it should be. But y'all put us in a situation where we can't trust you. We can't believe in you. We go and see, why would he do that? And, at first we give you the benefit of the doubt. And then it keeps going, and you add a little bit more, and you add a little bit more, and you add a little bit more, but you never explain yourself. You never explain why you do it. You always, I don't need the song and dance. I need facts. I need to understand. Talk to me like I'm stupid, which I am. I'm completely stupid. I'm an idiot. I am stupid to sit and beat my head against the wall constantly and tell people that they're doing the right thing. I go to Grip and Grin will come up in a few weeks, this, that, and the other. I go to these things and I hear people give amazing speeches. Then they go and do something different. And then people in there glad handing with people that when they're not there, they talk bad about them. And when they're there, hey, let me get a picture. Let me get a picture. Let me get a picture. Y'all, we've got to do better. We have got to start being Americans. We got to start being Mississippians again. We need to be proud of our politicians. We need to be proud of our elected officials. We need to be the people that want to know what's going on. And I see, I was talking with Jameson yesterday, and he seemed a little discouraged. And I'm just trying to tell y'all, are we just talking to the walls? Are we just talking to your speakers and you're riding down the road, talking about something else, looking at your phone? Y'all, we're telling you, America's under siege, but America is trying to take back over. The people are taking back over America, and Mississippi is going to miss out on it if we don't take back Mississippi. It is time for us to do that. And it's time to hold our legislators accountable. And the only reason why we got to go down to the Capitol and do that is because you don't have time to go. But if all the people have time to go, we should go, because we need to hold them accountable, because until the next election, we can't do anything about it, but we can tell them what we want. This is the Chip Matthews Show. I'll be sitting in for Jameson Haygood on Thursday, but he is next right here on most of this same radio station. I always wanted to say that. And Kim Wade will be on at 4 o'clock. Y'all don't miss him. And Clay will be back tomorrow.